Oh, so first off, we have a file for you all today. I'm sending that in the chat. It's a PDF. It's basically going to cover everything that we're going to talk about today. So if you missed anything or you want to go back and have a look again later, it will all be there in the PDF file. So Flicksy is a little tool for, Emma has the Adobe Illustrator meeting link and not ours. If you could re-email that again.
I just sent it to her.
Okay, I have let her know that you were doing that. All right. So Flicksy is a little online game making tool. I'm also going to share in the chat the link to the site where we're going to be working today. It's important to know that there is Flicksy, the original Flicksy, and then Flicksy 2. We're using Flicksy 2. It's the newer version of the program, and it's a little easier to use and has a few more features. Flicksy is basically a tool for making games that are like kind of like classic point and click adventure games, or just creating little like environments that you can explore. It's so there's not really like combat or anything like that. It's just like you can make like little adventures and or like mazes or like anything like that. So this is what the page is going to look like when you open it. I'm going to make a little scene where we're like exploring a forest. So I'm going to go ahead and name my project Forest Adventure. And as you can see, okay, Emma should be here now. We have a couple options here. There's also a demo project if you want to go back and look at that at any point. That's also really helpful if you find learning stuff is easier by like looking at something else someone has made and taking it apart. That's how I usually learn like game engine stuff, is I like put someone else's game in there and I'm like, okay, now let's figure out how they did this. So the first button we have here is drawings. So we're in the demo game right now, just to kind of show you some of the features. So in the drawings tab, you draw things and then store them here. And then you can put all of these drawings into your scenes. And then your scenes tab is basically like each like room or environment that you're going to be creating. And if you want to go to, oh my, I don't know if you can hear that thunder. If you want to go to a different scene and edit it, you just click here and then you have your different scenes. And then if you wanted to add a drawing, you hit pick drawing, and let's say we're going to put the bubble here, and now we have that in this scene. And I'll be going over this again slower, but this is just kind of an overview. So the map is basically where all your scenes are together. And so you can like drag them around if you want to. Right now they're kind of organized so that it flows in the direction that you're going to be going through them from room to room. And then this is the play tab. So you can choose which scene you want to start from here. So we're going to start from the intro scene. And we can go ahead and like play test this demo game. And you can see the bubble there that we put. And so there's, you know, if you want to go back, you can go back there. You can have a little dialogue. We go through the door here. There's other stuff. And then the save button is you just hit save. It saves all the data you have. So we're going to create a blank project. Once again, If I can spell. Just gonna name it Forest Adventure. I'm gonna go ahead and create some drawings to start. I'm just gonna do these pretty fast, but of course you can spend more time on your drawings. So right now the default drawing that the game comes with is the cursor. So that's gonna be what you're using to navigate through the scenes. But we're gonna add another drawing. And I'm going to draw, let's see, just like a little tree. You can change the size of your, I'm gonna name this tree. You'll wanna go to the pencil tool down here to make sure you're in drawing mode. You can change the side of the brush. So since I'm doing kind of more covering bigger areas, I'm just gonna go ahead and use the bigger brush. And then go down to a little bit smaller brush when I do the trunk of this tree. Oops. It's worth noting there's no undo tool or eraser tool. The tool that you use instead, if you messed up there, I made my trunk a little too big, you're gonna go down to this one that has the stripes. That's the transparent color. So you're basically just painting it in transparent. And oh, this isn't gonna be the world's most beautiful tree, but it has character. And then there's also the paint bucket tool. So right now I can just hit that. It's gonna color in the whole trunk. I don't have to spend time coloring that in. Go ahead and make a little like hole in the tree. Okay, so we have that. I'm going to go ahead and go to our scene, and right now, I'm going to go to map. Our starting scene is unnamed scene. Going to click on this, name it forest, and then I'm going to add a drawing to it. I'm going to add that tree, and I can put it here. Oh. And then I'm going to add a scene, add blank. Did it not? Why did it get rid of my other one? Hold on. Sorry, hold on. It was working for me earlier. Emma, do you know why it's doing this? Oh, do I need to name it here? Emma?
It seems to be working on my end. Oh, is it, if you click and drag, does it,
It's,
they kind of generate on top of each other?
I'm trying, that's the thing is I'm dragging here and it's not, and it should be. Here, let me try just opening a whole new project, see if that helps. New project. It's letting me, there we go. Okay. I'll know why it was doing that. But if you run into issues like that, just reopening the browser tab, yes, can help. Glad we got that sorted. Okay, so we're gonna name this first scene forest, and this next one tree. Okay, now we're gonna have to do that drawing again. I'm gonna do it super quick. Oop. Right. Move it over so it's not overlapping with our cursor. It's in that handy paint bucket tool. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and create another drawing. So I want to be a little bigger. So I'm going to put it as 100 times 100. So that's how you can get a larger image. And now I'm going to just draw really quickly a more zoomed in version of that tree that I already drew. I'm going to go ahead and add, I'm going to name this one tree close up. Going to add a new drawing. This one. Accidentally, hold on. Paint bucket and more in there. Okay, gonna go over to this drawing. It's gonna be named bird, and I'm just gonna make it 24. Nice. Maybe a little bigger. All right. So we're going to go to our opening scene, which is the forest, and add a drawing. We're going to put this tree here. And then we're going to switch over to our other scene, which is tree. And add the tree. And we're going to add the bird. And we're going to put the bird over the tree. Now down here, there is also for your drawings, when you're in the scene tab, you can do certain things. One of them is like changing the layer. So as you can see, the bird is on top of the tree right now. If I hit lower, it's now behind the tree. We do want it on top of the tree, so I'm going to click the bird and raise it back up. Oh, why is it not? There you go. So that I can put it in the tree. And there's also dialogue options. So when you click on the bird is going to say, tweet, tweet. You can hit preview here, and that shows you what your dialogue looks like. So we're going to switch our scene back to the forest scene. We're going to go to this tree, and we're going to go back down to object behavior, but instead of dialogue this time, we're going to hit scene change and click tree. So now you can see that it's like that. So our starting scene, we're back in the map. Our starter scene, we want it to be the forest. So now when we go playtest scene. It's not. Why is it not showing the, there we go. Oh, Emma, do you know why the cursor isn't working?
Sorry?
The cursor doesn't seem to be working.
Oh, I'm not sure. Sorry.
Well,
Would you rather me switch to mine and like I can screen share? Because so far I don't seem to be having any problems.
yeah, here, let me go to mine, export the project data. Oh, is it because I'm using Chrome? Is that why?
It's possible, maybe.
Okay. Here, hold on. It's not letting me export my data, I don't think. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I can't toss that over to you, but can you take it over? I'm gonna try opening it up in a Firefox, see if that helps.
Yeah, sure. All right, so sorry about that with technical difficulties and stuff. I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully everyone can see it. All right, so hopefully I'm sharing my screen and you can see I started making a little scene. I currently have one scene and it's a little crab on a beach. I'm gonna make another scene by going to add blank. And then I'm going to edit the scene by you can click the edit, or you can also double click it to go into the scene tab and add a new to edit the scene. I'm going to add another drawing. I'm going to add the same drawing of the beach I had. So now I have two scenes, one scene with a crab at the beach and one scene with the beach without the crab. So now what we're going to do is we're going to kind of add events to the scene. Once you have your drawings in a scene, you can click on the different drawings in your scene and either add dialogues or scene changes to them. So I'm going to click this crab, and it pops up this object behavior box. And so I can make the crab say some little things, like I'll have him say, "I'm a crab." And I just type that into the dialog box. And when I try testing the scene, which I can do with the preview button, I can test the dialogue, it'll show up. So that is what will happen on the screen if I click on the crab. And I think this is our, we can change. So this will be our starting scene when we first open our Flicksy game. So we can test that by hitting play. And, oh no, now this is giving me problems too. Well, we can also play test a certain scene with this button right here called play scene. And oh my God, I think Flicksy might be having technical difficulties today. I'm not sure. What should
It was working yesterday when I was messing with it, so I have no idea what's happening. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, so what should happen when you either click play or you select a certain scene to play test is that the scene should pop up and you should be able to click on little drawings that you set events to, and they'll happen in the screen. So right now we can go back to editing our beach with the crab scene, as well as adding dialogue to certain drawings in your scenes. You can also add a scene change. So if you look on your map, maybe when we click on the crab, we want the crab to look like it's scurrying away. So we'll change to a scene where it's the beach without the crab. So when you're editing, you click on your crab and then you see this scene change button. You can change that and then click on the scene that you want to transition to when you click on the crab. And so that will choose now, oops. That will now change that scene to the unnamed scene when the crab is clicked. So maybe I'll put, "I'm a crab and I'm scurrying away." So the text will look like this when you click on the crab. And then we can try playtesting the scene or playtesting the whole game by hitting play. It's not working for some reason. I'm sorry about that. But when you hit play, you should be able to see the scene with the crab. And then when you click on the crab, it will say, "I'm a crab and I'm scurrying it away." And it will transition to the scene without, with the beach without the crab. So then, I don't know, maybe you could say, you can make another, so by making a lot of scenes and putting a bunch of drawings on them, you can kind of create this map where you start at one scene, and depending on what you click on in that scene, it'll transition to different scenes. With I'm sorry that it's not like the preview for the scenes. It's not working on my end. That's a little weird. Anyway, you can also do some interesting things with dialogue as well. So let's make it so that we just have one scene with our little crab, and he's just going to say something when we click him. So I'm going to type in, he's going to say, I'm a crab. Now there's special like text effects that you can add to dialogue by using these little tags surrounding the dialogue. And a tag kind of looks like a command within curly brackets. So there's three main things you can do. So we'll start with a wavy text. So what you want to do if you want to make your text wavy is start with some curly brackets, and then at the beginning of the text you'll put in a plus sign and then WVY. And then at the end of the text, when you want to stop where the wavy text is, you put a minus sign in curly brackets and then WBY. So theoretically, when you preview this, everything that is in these wavy tags will then kind of wave on the screen. Another tag you can do is make the text shake. So for that, you have tags plus and minus around your dialogue that has SHK in them. So now, if you have a plus SHK and a minus SHK around your dialogue, it should shake like that. Then the other thing that you can do is you can change the color of your dialogue. For this one, I don't think you have to put a plus in the first curly bracket tag. All you have to do is put CLR and then an equal sign, and then you type what color you want. So I'm going to go with red. And then you put a minus CLR at the end of your text. And when I click preview, the text is red. If you're familiar with hex codes, which is a way for displaying colors online, this little color tag will go with hex codes. So I don't know any off of the top of my head, but it should also just use simple color names like red and blue and yellow and things like that. So when you're done with your Flicksy project and you want to export it and like create the game and share it with friends, what you'll do is you'll go to the project button, and then you'll obviously have a name for your game, which you'll put in the little name tag. And then down in this export, to create your finished game, you'll click the HTML file button, which will save your game and export it as an HTML file, which is the kind of files that browsers use to view web pages. So HTML file, it'll pop up a little pop-up to have you save the HTML file on your computer, and then that is your game. So HTML files can be played on your computer through a browser. So if you want people to play your game, you could send it to the HTML file to a friend. If you have a website, you can upload the HTML file to your website. And there's also different online spaces where you can create an account and upload your HTML file there, and people will be able to play your game. Just make sure you get your parents' permission to create accounts if you're under 18. And then, yeah. So The last special thing that we want to cover is, as you can see, the default drawing that you get on your Flicksy files is a cursor. Which, sorry, we can't show this because the preview is broken, but when you play your game, this is the drawing that will replace your cursor as you're playing a game and, moving your cursor around and pointing and clicking. You can actually, since this is just a drawing in itself, you can actually customize this. So to pick what drawing you want to have for a cursor, you go to this drawings button under the drawings tab and you click change, and then you can pick which drawing you want to be the cursor. So if I wanted my cursor to be a giant crab, I guess I would click that. But right now we'll just stick with the little hand here. And then this drawing can be customized just like any other drawing. So maybe I could change it to orange, or maybe I could erase the whole thing and make it like an arrow, like you'd see on like a regular computer. So now the cursor is a little arrow. But of course, the entire drawing can't be used to click as a cursor. It only clicks on one point on the drawing. As you can see, when you select a drawing to be your cursor, it'll provide these little red crosshairs. And that basically tells you the point on the drawing that will do the actual clicking. So let's say we wanted the point to actually be at the very tip of our arrow. What we can do is we will go back up to this cursor drawing and we will change the coordinates of the cursor pivot. So I think you kind of have to experiment with it. I think this point might be 0, 0. So I'm going to type that in. Yes, and you will see the little crosshairs on the drawing change when you change the numbers on the cursor pivot. So you'll be able to see where exactly on the drawing will be the clicking mechanism. Are there any questions so far? Anything that we can clarify? I can't see everybody, so I might have to stop sharing my screen for a second to see the chat. There we go. Do we have any questions? Anything that we might go over again if you didn't catch that?
I do have one question. Do you recommend Firefox over Chrome as the browser to use when
Yeah, the creator of Flicksy is a friend of me and Ebeth's, and I think they created Flicksy to be optimized in Firefox. Yes, sometimes Chrome does some funny things with web tools that you can't account for. It's a little more unpredictable than Firefox, but theoretically it should work on any like updated browser, like browser that is up to date. But I think you might run into some more unpredictable little weird quirks if you use Chrome other than Firefox. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's a very good question. Thank you. How do you make the scene the first scene? That is a good question. So let me screen share again. So when you make a first scene, you'll want to go to the map tab, and then you'll see this box right here that says scenes, and you'll have a header that says starting scene. And so right now, as you can see, our starting scene is beach with crab. If you wanted to change that, you would press this button right here called change. And let's say we wanted to start on an empty beach, then we would click on the empty beach. And now the unnamed scene is our starting scene. All right.
I am once again
Ebeth,
going to put the handout that we made.
right,
It
yeah,
has all the
sorry,
information we've covered. I'm once again putting that in the chat for you to download, and I recommend doing that.
right, yeah, sorry, sorry I was having difficulties at the beginning of the start, otherwise I would have uploaded that. That's basically a handout that covers pretty much everything we've talked about. It's not comprehensive of all that Flicksy provides because there's some more advanced features that we wouldn't be able to cover in such a short period of time. But you feel free to, and Flicksy in particular is very good at like explaining what everything does on the screen, giving you instructions on how to work through different things. And hopefully you'll be able to experiment on your own time and have fun making little games with it. Since we have some time, if people want to like work on Flicksy projects, maybe do some drawings and make some scenes, have some experiment time, and if any questions arise, you can ask them in the chat. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that sounds great.
All right, awesome. And I'd be curious if anybody else is having problems with the preview. Maybe it's just on my and Ebeth's end. I have no idea. But if anybody else is having problems with the preview, I'd like to know. Maybe just like shout it out in
We'll
the chat.
definitely let the creator of this tool know so that they can fix it, put in a bug report. I'm so sorry again.
Yeah, that's a little. It is happening with you too. Okay, thanks for letting me know. We'll definitely contact the person who made Flicksy and let them know that it's kind of being a little fussy. But let's see if I'm going to see if I can like make my crab scurry off and see if I export the HTML if the problems persist. All right, so it looks like when you export your HTML file, all of the dialogue and all of the scene changes that you implement will work perfectly in the exported. file. It's just that the preview functionality on Flicksy seems to be not working for some reason. So I'm going to
Can
share.
you, okay. I
I'm
was
going
just
to
gonna
share
ask,
my
can you do that?
screen. Yeah, I was going to say, so this is the crab at the beach HTML that I exported. And as you can see, when I click on the crab, he says, I'm a crab, scurries away. And then it transitions to the empty beach scene. And then I created another scene where if you click on this beach drawing in this scene, it transitions to a little scene that says the end. So that's kind of how the functionality works. And if there's any questions, feel free to ask them or type them in the chat.
Mine is working again. I'm not sure why the preview wasn't working earlier. As you can see, because I restarted the file, so I just have two very simple scenes with little drawings here. But when you click on this heart, it will take you to the other scene, and then this one will take you back again. But it's working again. Yay!
Oh, that's good.
um, but some of the things you can sort of do this for gameplay beyond just something being just sharing like a little like scene you can go through if you have like multiple doors like in a scene, and if you click on one it takes you to another room, and maybe one's a dead end and one's not, so you can create like a maze, or you can do stuff where you need to like find certain objects to open doors. So that's sort of some of the gameplay potential there. But yeah, preview seems to be working again. I'm almost wondering if it had anything to do with the storm now that it's stopped, everything's working again. I have no clue.
Yeah, and this program is very much geared toward people who are really artistic and can draw a lot, because it's unlike Bitsy, which is a program that we've done workshops on before. This one has a lot more like artistic freedom. In Bitsy, your relegated to everything by being kind of 8 by 8 pixel little people. Whereas with Flicksy, you have a lot more pixels, you have a lot more colors. You can resize drawings to be whatever kind of drawing you want. And it's good for kind of point and click games, kind of like Myst, or if people know Myst, or Monkey Island. It's another point and click. It reminds me a lot of kind of Freddy Fish games. Those are some games that some point and click games that I played as a kid. You know, you click on things and you click to move to different areas. And yeah. Kind of like Oregon Trail. Yeah, you could make a sort of Oregon Trail kind of similar game in Flicksy. I don't know if workshop guests are are allowed to upload files to the chat, but if you make a cool game during this period and want to share it, you could feel free to upload the HTML file into the chat if you have that capacity. Otherwise, if you want to share something with me and Ebeth, or have any other questions beyond what is covered in the handout and what we talked about today, our email addresses are both in the handout, so you can feel free to shoot us an email at any time. And I hope you guys create some really cool games with Flicksy.
Thank you so much, Emma and Ebeth. The program was great. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Oh, I see someone said they don't see the handout.
I can try uploading it again in the chat. So, okay. Yeah.
I've just sent it one more time, but I'll have Emma send it too.
Yeah.
And I can email it to everyone who registered for the program as well, so you'll have a copy that ways also.
Oh, that works. That works perfect as well. Yes.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you everyone who
Yeah, as always, thank you to the St. Louis Public Library for giving us the opportunity to spread our love for small web tools for creating games.
Well, we really appreciate you both joining us today. Does anyone have any last minute questions before we end the program? Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And if you haven't visited Creative Experience at Barr Central Library, please do drop by. We're open Monday through Saturdays. Have a wonderful day.